All right. Hey, everyone. This is episode 1 of the Business Insights podcast. My name's Adam, and Brian is the other co host on this show here. Brian, how's it going?
Good, Adam. How are you? Hello, everyone.
Yes. So this first episode here, we're gonna hope to put out at least one a week moving forward. But on our first episode here, this is gonna be more of a overview type introduction to the podcast episode. I hope that people who listen to this podcast will start here, even if it's in the future when they find this podcast, because I think this will be an important one. Basically, what we're going to cover in this one is we're going to give our relevant background in business and kind of tell how that's going to apply to this podcast, some of our past experiences, and one of the biggest questions I think every podcast should answer is why we're doing this podcast. We're going to kind of
hmm
talk about that, who we hope will listen to this podcast, and hopefully the value that we'll be bringing through this podcast. So, Brian, let's start off. You and I was thinking back, we've been great friends and business partners for almost 15 years. Lives.
Yeah, it really does. It's amazing. Amazing.
So we basically met in the corporate world in the industry we're in now. We have a business together. We're partners in a business called Network for Solutions. We do
Yep.
internet marketing for small and medium-sized businesses. And we started off in the corporate world working at a company that did that same thing. So we've got a big background in that. But I wanted to ask you, like, we met in the corporate world, and what would you say is your um, takeaway or your thoughts on the corporate world in this industry as far as your experience in it?
Yeah, it's a great question. Great question. So, obviously, again, we've worked with each other for a long time, and one of the big things that kind of brought us together was different systems that corporate world kind of tested and tried out that kind of worked as far as engagement to small and medium sized businesses. And I think ultimately the biggest takeaway that, at least on my end, from it was the training and then how to go out and basically, sales and prospecting, which is a huge part of any business. You got to have the sales and marketing end. But I think the training and the systemizations of stuff was very helpful to kind of get us going. And I learned and gleaned a lot from those experiences on how we then went ahead and did our own business with it. We left some of the stuff behind, obviously, not everything we agreed upon with the corporate side, but ultimately it was a great experience. There was a lot of good stuff that we learned from it. But I would say the trainings and then how to prospect and the systemizations of stuff was really, really, really helpful to kind of, take that and put it into our own business. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had people ask me too many times, because I think there's like a feeling out there. People like us who are self-employed and independent, they have this real negative view on corporate America and stuff. I'm very appreciative of the experiences I've had in corporate America, with
I agree
various
with you.
companies, but especially at the company
Yep.
we worked at. Great
Yep.
people. I learned
Yep.
so much, made so many great connections. I
Yep.
really don't have anything negative to say about the companies now. There's a reason why we went out on our own and started our own business, because we felt like we could, do it a little better, do it more effectively, work with business owners better. But
Yes.
that really wasn't anything to do with the company we worked at specifically. It's just the nature of it. So I
Correct.
have always said great things about the companies that I worked for and the company that we met at. But yeah, to your point, there's a lot you can learn, and I've had people ask me that want to get into this business that we're in, internet marketing, and they want to start their own firm, their own agency. And they ask me, what you've been doing it a long time. What is your advice? And my first piece of advice is you should actually go get a job first, ideally at a company, a big company in the industry, a corporate thing, because you're going to learn the business. You need to learn the business first before you start your own agency. I think there's a lot
I
of people
totally
that
agree.
that
Yep.
that think that, I can just jump into it, but ours is not like a lot of other businesses, I think, where you really do need to get that experience. I know
I
it
totally
benefited
agree.
us.
100%. And I think, like you said about the corporate side, I have nothing negative either. And a lot of the relationships were because of being in the corporate world, right? A lot of the small business owners that we ended up helping in the corporate side, went on to help them in our own business. So really, at the end of the day, it was a lot of door opening and opportunities to learn a ton. And to your point, I have nothing negative to say. There was so many good things and good people, like you said, good people that you meet along the way, not only who we work with, but also, the clients and the small business owners that we work with while being in the corporate world. Yeah, 100%.
And we started our company, was it 2010, right? That was like the
Yep,
official,
2010 was the
start
official,
date.
kickoff. Yep.
So we're
Yep.
approaching, I mean, we're really getting close to almost 15 years in business now. And one of the things I take the most pride in is we still have many clients that we had when we first started, 2010, 2011. We have many small business clients that have been with us since then, well over 10 years. And that's saying a lot in this industry where there's a lot of turnover. There's a lot of companies changing providers and so forth. And the fact that we've been able to maintain those clients and those relationships and provide them value throughout the years, that's what I take the most pride in. As I look back, it just means a lot to me. So I think one of the biggest reasons we wanted to do this podcast is to make it also for our clients. We try to talk to our clients as much as we can and communicate, but people are busy. So by doing this podcast, we're going to be able to hopefully create a library of episodes that we can share with our clients, and not too long of episodes. Maybe we do 15, 20 minutes on these episodes to provide value for our clients that they can listen to. Also, obviously, non-clients. I obviously hope that people in our industry could listen to it, people that might be looking to start their own business, any business owner, essentially, anyone who's interested in this type of stuff. I hope we'll be providing value to not only clients, but non-clients too, by sharing our thoughts, experiences, opinions. I think you'll, as a business owner, be able to pick up some actionable tips, even if you're not a client, that you can take away from this podcast, because I do say I'm not an expert in a lot of things. I'm not the most knowledgeable guy in a lot of different subjects, but just by doing this for so many years, I know you and I, you just learn a lot. You make mistakes and you learn a lot. So one of the biggest reasons we wanted to do this podcast is to share our knowledge and experiences, and maybe that could benefit some other people out there, which I hope will be the case.
Totally agree. And I think you bring up such a great point about how many clients have been with us for so long. And I think that lends to the fact of, we understand the challenges of small businesses. We are one. So we get that, there's times where, we have to take, extra time to navigate through things and changes and what's going on in the marketplace to be able to help that small business owner succeed, because if they succeed, ultimately we're succeeding. So it really, I totally agree with you. It really is a awesome opportunity to be able to share experiences now through this podcast. So it's another forum to be able to share in different things. Absolutely. 100%.
And as far as businesses that we work with, I mean, over the years, we've worked with, I almost can't even think of a business vertical that we haven't touched at some point. I mean,
I know.
Home services, the medical field, legal, all kinds of storefront businesses. Again, we've really circled the wagons with the types of clients that we have and have had. We probably have worked with, I would say, well over 100 different businesses, right? Maybe even a lot more than that.
Maybe even a little more than that. Yeah. Yep.
So I think we're going to get, in future episodes, we're going to get more detailed on, what we do, what's important out there. Our clients ask us all the time, when we talk to them, that some of their biggest questions are, what should I be doing? I know you guys are providing your services and you're doing a great job and doing well as a business, but what could I be doing to amplify that? Well, how can we, work on our end as a business owner to help your program? What should we be doing and what's new out there? Because in internet marketing, things are always changing, right? That's a constant, is that there's always changes. There's always changes with Google and all the different entities out there. So that's one of the things we handle for them, is keeping their business ahead of the changes, ahead of the curve. But they want to get an update too. A lot of times, like what's new out there, what's the latest things that are meaningful for a small local business. So I think through this podcast, I want to be able to provide that. I know you do too, to provide that information of like what's major, what's new out there. We're going to be doing a lot of different episodes, and each one will hopefully be kind of laser focused on specific topics. This one, again, more of an introduction type thing.
Right.
So that, I think that's really, if you look at like why are we doing this, it's to provide value, to be a valuable thing.
Yes.
We talk anyway. I mean, we do these phone calls. we've been talking
right.
for years and years and years. And, it's just funny. We've kind of talked about doing something like this for a while, but it just felt like the time was right to finally, start recording and start putting this out there for people to listen to. But yeah, I think that's on this first episode. I think that was the major thing we wanted to get across is, why we're doing this, who we are. We'll obviously expand upon these things as time goes on in future episodes. But this is episode 1, Business Insights Podcast. What else should we add in this one, Brian? What am I missing here?
I think you touched on everything. It's that I think, like we've talked and we were chatting about, just super excited to do it and super grateful for the opportunity to be able to share insights and be able to, again, have another platform by which we can touch our existing clients, new potential clients, or any type of referral partners that want to work with us. We're looking forward to sharing, our experiences along the way in this podcast. We're very excited about it. Yep.
And we mentioned earlier clients that we've had for years and years and years. I think if they'd be open to it, I'd love to on future episodes even have our clients come on this podcast with us.
We'd love that, because then they can share their experiences, and then that can, depending if they're in that vertical or just in general, they could bring forth a different insight or different view that could be for another. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be a huge thing for us, is to bring our existing clients on so they can share in their experiences. Absolutely.
And a lot of the episodes, at least in the beginning here, will be like this one, audio only. But we have plans where we'll do video episodes that will be out there. This podcast is gonna go out everywhere. So if you listen on Apple or Spotify or Google, YouTube, this is going to be in all the places. So if you follow and subscribe the podcast or the channel or on social media, we're going to have a Twitter account for this podcast where we'll be notifying new episodes. But if you follow and subscribe on all those places, you'll get notified of all the future episodes that we do. So
absolutely.
I think the goal too with a lot of these episodes is to make them mostly what we call evergreen. So episodes that if someone discovers it a year from now or a week from now, it's still going to have value. It's still going to be applicable and something that would be good to listen and watch. There'll be probably tips within these and stuff like that might be more timely, but as a large general thing, we want these to be episodes that will stay relevant in the future. So that's kind of the idea of this whole thing.
Totally agree. Yep.
All right. Well, hey, that's we're at about the 15-minute mark, so that's ideally what we want to stay within with most of these episodes. So, Brian, this was episode 1. Next episode we put out, episode 2 is going to be, it's going to be getting a little more into what we call the foundation for a small local business online. The services we provide as a package. We're going to talk high level about that. And we're going to just really go into why it's so important, what the foundation is, what a small business needs to have, whether it's through us or someone else. We're going to get into that on episode 2 and really what's the most important for a business to be doing and to have online. So that's a little preview.
Yeah, super excited for that one. Absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. Appreciate the support. And again, follow, subscribe. Brian, talk to you next time.
Thank you, Adam.